keeping? We haven't been on a Friday at 11 o'clock. Now, I know we're a couple of minutes late this morning, but Deirdre was struggling there getting the cameras set up. We haven't done a Friday 11 o'clock live in ages and ages and ages. So we said we'd pop on today. Because yesterday I was on showing this container, and the amount of messages I got afterwards saying, Janette, any chance of showing us how to do a display in a vase? So I said I'll do something really, really simple this morning. But before we get the show on the road, let us know who's watching, where are you watching in from, and obviously what's the weather forecast like. Not too bad in Dublin, no frost on the car this morning, so that was actually good. Cold, but not exceptionally cold. I actually was out for a walk this morning at 7 o'clock, done the 5k, and wasn't too bad at all. And it's not raining, so that's pretty good. I hear it's actually raining in Lanzarote, so that's kind of a bit of a turn up for the books, isn't it? So how's everybody else getting on? Who's watching in? As I said, give us a breakdown of what's happening. So for anybody that is tuned or booked onto Module 1 and Module 3 starting next Wednesday, at this stage you should have received an email from us. If you haven't, don't ring us, email us back, okay? Because chances are maybe it went to the wrong email box. So at this stage, check your emails. You should have had an email about signing up to your Thinkific site. That's where your online course is going to be. And also your invitation to your Bloom Room, okay? Now, even though you have applied to join the Bloom Room, you may not have been let in the door yet, because that won't happen till Tuesday. And for anybody that has signed up to the Thinkific site, you can't see anything because that's not going to happen till Wednesday. But be in your Bloom Room on Wednesday morning, and I will be there for our live Q&A chats, get everything sorted out and answer any questions that you have. The majority of the kits are gone in the post. Obviously, anybody that only booked on yesterday, yours has not gone in the post. But everybody else, your kit is in the post and you should have it. And again, next Wednesday, we'll go through all the materials and we can sort out, you know what I mean, who has what and what has this and who hasn't got that and so on. And just to avoid 3 million questions, in your kit, your notes won't be in the kit that we post out to you because they're going to be on the program, and you can either download them or you can print them off the program. We're trying to be a little bit environmentally friendly. Now, this arrangement that I'm doing today is going to be foam free, which is a change. I normally do use a lot of floral foam. Have anybody watching, Deirdre, or am I talking to myself?
We've lots of people watching in, and we have weather forecasts coming in from around the country. So Laura in Wildfeather events is in Leitrim, and it's cold and, oops, hang on a second, I'm nearly blocking her. Cold, dry and lovely in Leitrim. It's nice and sunny in Paisley in Scotland. That's Karen is on there.
Hey, Karen.
Caroline is on, and it's cold and bright in North London. The Balloonology, hey, we are from England and we're based in Blackburn. We don't know what the weather's like there. Tell us what the weather is like, Balloonology.
It seems to be frost around there.
No, it seems to be, fairly okay. Flared Maids Easy is on. We sent them a message yesterday.
Send them a message, Lisa. Did you get that message from me? Go and check your Instagram message box, okay? I got to you there the other day, just in case you didn't see it. I didn't check to see, did you see it? Okay, so these are a cheap enough glass container. Flowers Made Easy, have you got containers like this for sale? If you have, post photograph and post up the price then. Flowers Made Easy has a site called hobbywholesaleflowers.ie. Again, Lisa, if she's watching, she'll put up the link there for us. And again, anybody outside the trade, you'll be able to buy your materials from them wholesale. And just another little tip, I'm trying to find the beginning of the anchor tape here, is if you use the code KAYSFS, as in K's Flower School, you will get a discount, 10% discount if you use that code. Lisa's probably giving out saying she shouldn't be giving that out public. Okay, what I have here is a skinny anchor tape, and again, you'll buy that from your local florist, or again, from wholesaleflowers.ie. They have them for it as well. And what I'm doing is I'm placing 2 stripes of anchor tape going across the container, and I'm just trimming it back because obviously I don't want it real unsightly coming down the container too low, which is happening, you see on that side there. So like keep it back nice and short. And that's the disaster about the false nails. it's impossible trying to get your finger underneath it to grip it. Okay, got it done there. When I say the false nails, I'm missing the nail off that one there. That'll have to be replaced tomorrow. Actually, they all need to be revamped. So our containers from IKEA, very reasonably priced. Have it filled with water. And what I've done is 2 stripes of anchor tape going that direction. And now I'm going to do 2 stripes of anchor tape going the opposite direction. So it's kind of like making a grid. Do any of you remember in school and playing X's and O's? We used to play X's and O's all the time. And the way you would kind of draw 2 lines in your notebook going vertical, 2 lines kind of going horizontal, and you got 9 boxes. And then you did your X's and O's in the box. Well, that's kind of like what I'm trying to create here. Now, people are probably watching and saying, what about sellotape? Could you use sellotape? It's not as good. What happens is, if the container is anyway wet on the outside where I'm sticking it, the sellotape won't stick. And then when you're sticking the materials in and out, there's a good chance the sellotape will kind of snap. Where normally you find that the anchor tape is a little bit stronger.
Just putting it out there, Janette, we'd love a few shares.
Yeah.
The numbers are low on Facebook today. Instagrams, the 2 Instagrams are flying.
Oh,
but on
okay.
Facebook, the numbers are
Facebook,
low today.
let's try and build up the numbers. Because I've 2 arrangements planned for today. But sure, I need a big audience. There's no point in me standing here if I have nobody watching me. So why don't you click share? Why don't you tag someone who you know who likes flowers? And if you happen to be in a flower club or a flower group or a floral group, etc., why don't you tag it, or why don't you share it over into that group? Now, I can't turn this sideways, okay, for you to see it, so you kind of have to believe me. Hopefully, maybe you might see a little bit there. I just don't want to spill the water. So there's my little grid made at the top using the anchor tape, and I use the narrower anchor tape. Now, foliage-wise, I was on yesterday and I showed you what a bunch of foliage looked like from Stuart Williams, okay? He was in Red Cross in Wicklow. I think in a week's time we're going to have the Irish Green guys up here in the school. The lovely, handsome James is coming all the way from Kerry, and he's going to come up here and we'll probably go live with him and let you all see, because he's a fabulous hair, hasn't he, dear?
Oh, his hair's gorgeous,
his hair
yeah.
is just amazing. I'll be able to get him to pass on the information to you of the hairdresser that he goes to. Anyway, I'm being smart, by the way. This is the eucalyptus that I showed you yesterday. And what I've just done is cut it down. So I've just kind of like made like stems, and where I've cleaned down the branches, you see at the end there, see the way it's nice and clean at the bottom. So there's just all the branches of eucalyptus. Most of them are as full as I can, but some of them are a little bit skinny and scrawny, as you can see there, right? So there's a nice kind of strong one there. So lots and lots of branches of eucalyptus, and I've roughly a half a bunch there, just to kind of give you an idea. If you look back to yesterday's video, you'll see what the full bunch looked like. Now, with some of the stems, I was cutting the top off, but I was still left with the bottom piece and all the little side stems, and again, you can use them in smaller displays if you want to. Now, I think for this part of the video, I'll probably put it up on the will I put it up on the turntable, or will it be too tall?
I think no, don't leave down, it's grand.
Okay, right, because I know with the YouTuber, I'm a bit stuck for the height here today. Okay, for starting off, what you're going to do is work around the outside, okay, the boxes, or the X's and O boxes around the outside of your grid, and place the material, your eucalyptus, place it in on a slant, can you see like that, and just make sure that you get that kind of like crisscross. And then place another bit of foliage in from the opposite side, and it's really important that the 2 stems kind of crisscross over each other. Don't worry that one is lower than the other, that won't make any difference. And then add in another stem coming in from the opposite direction, and again it's important that it crisscrosses. And then get another one. I'm going to come over from my side over at my chest, okay, just clean off them 2 side pieces there. And again, I'm coming into this box over here, and again, they're crisscrossing. Now, hopefully you can see the stems down the bottom. Just come back out of that one there. You can see the stems in the water, the way they're starting to create that X's and O's crisscross. So now I'm just working around the rest of them, and where maybe some of the foliage was a little bit lighter, I might add in an extra one. So I'm just keep working around the outside boxes, adding in these extra stems of foliage. And where maybe some of it is not hanging down as low, I can add in a few of these lighter stems, and you see the way that will help them to kind of fall down. Now, these will be brilliant for hotels, but even just for your own home, for your dining room. And today I'm not going to go on to the flowers, because I want you to practice this technique, okay? Post all your photographs over in the Flowery Fun group, and then I can correct them for you. And then what I'll do is another week then I'll move on to adding in the flowers. But I need just to get the technique of doing this, okay? So we've worked around the outside, and now I'm looking for a nice strong stem, and into the middle box, okay? So the middle X and O's, when you're a winner, I'm going to stick that one down into the centre, and it's going to come down into the middle of the crisscross. So you can see the way the grid holds the material in place, but also the kind of spiral underneath. Now, it's not your typical proper spiral that we teach, obviously, on the hand-tied bouquet course, but again, it's just kind of giving you an idea, like how it's done. A lot of professional florists, they would probably prefer to make a proper hand-tied bouquet in their hand and then just insert it into the container. But like I always find with these videos, we get lots of the general public, like Joe Blogs, follow us here, and they're just looking for ideas that they can do at home from the comfort of their own home. And even if you haven't got the eucalyptus, you know what I mean, is maybe your neighbour has some growing, or you could go to your local flower shop and you could purchase some from them. So I'm now kind of working into the centre boxes. I've just kind of turned that around just to kind of give you an idea, you know, that way, what it's looking like. And then I'm just kind of having a look myself if there's any extra ones that I want to add.
What I love about this technique, Janette, is that for a small few stems, it looks huge.
It looks loads, yeah. It looks absolutely loads. There's roughly 18 stems of eucalyptus being used there, just in case anybody wasn't counting and you're wondering, you know what I mean, how many I used. Now, if you would like to keep this all eucalyptus, keep going, you know, that sort of way, like cut up the rest of the bunch and keep going. But what will really, really look nice is if you add another variety of foliage, just for, you know, a little bit of texture, a little bit of dimension, and it just makes it look a little bit more interesting.
Joe Blogs is here, and they're very grateful for the videos.
Oh, very good. Thanks a million.
That's all, Ollie Murty, I think, on Instagram.
Fair play to you. Thanks a million. And again, we love the interaction. You know that way. The interaction is what helps our social media analytics. So even if you say, I hate it, or a thumbs up, or a kiss, or a pair of lips, or whatever you want, you know, they just interact with our page. And when you share it, it means a huge amount to us, because obviously it's spreading the news out. I was laughing, somebody yesterday was messaging me, well, I think they put it in the comments, and she says, I talk too much and I'm making a commercial advertising their courses. But you listen, that's what I use social media for. Our only way of promoting ourselves, because we are a business, we are a training school, you know that
we need to earn an income.
We need to get a few bob, okay? And the only way of promoting myself is obviously to come onto social media and do these free classes, okay? So you may not be interested in maybe buying a course off, but hopefully somebody else might be interested. So we really appreciate if you could share it. Anyway, back to it. This foliage that I have here is called phoenix leaf. Now, it's an imported foliage, though you can grow it here in Ireland. My dad has it growing in his garden, but his is real strong and hard and spiky, you know what I mean? So it's not going, I wouldn't use the Irish grown version of it, not my dad's one anyway. I wouldn't use it. So this isn't that expensive, and again, you can buy it in your local florist. And what you can do is you can pull off some of the leaves you see at the bottom, just to make the stem a little bit cleaner. So what I'm going to do with the phoenix leaf is I'm going to work around the outside again, like the outside boxes, and I'm going to add this in, you see, for a little bit of texture and dimension around the outside. Now, obviously, you could use Pittosporum, or you have the silver Sussex, you know, that way. Anybody, if there is any garden centres watching there, and you have the silver Sussex for sale, let us know. Post a photograph, post a link or whatever, and we can advertise, because I'll be using quite a lot of that over the next couple of weeks. Now, I know I was on last Monday and I was saying that we're working on videos this week, and by God, have we been working on videos. We've lots of free tutorials to post up here on our social media pages. But again, I only give it to you for nothing if you do something for me for nothing, and that means I need just to share, you know. Now, I'm working towards the middle now. So far I've worked kind of around the outside there. Can you see with the silver Sussex, with the phoenix? And I'd like some of that into the centre now. So I just want to show them what I want to do, right? Okay. So when you're placing it in the centre, don't place one on top of the other. Kind of place them that direction. You see, coming away from each other, they look much nicer. And if you have maybe a third one, again, come in kind of going away from it. Hopefully they can kind of see that effect, right? So I'll move that back in front of me again. Now you can't see my lips. And now I'm going to work down through the...
We can hear them.
You can hear them. They keep moving. So now I'm going to work down through the middle. that same person who was giving out about me talking yesterday, I said to her, listen, that's what the mute button is for. You know, that turn the volume off, turn your mute button on, and you don't have to listen to me, and you can just watch the tutorials. So I've 9 of these in so far. I've 1 left. So I think over that side that's facing you now, I think that's where I might use just that last piece.
Una is watching over on YouTube, and she says she's really looking forward to starting one on Wednesday.
Brilliant. And did you get your email, Una, and have you signed up, and have you what's called requested to join into your bloom room? Make sure you have. Don't worry if you're not in the bloom room yet, you won't be accepted till Tuesday, and don't worry if you can't see it on the online program, because you obviously won't till Wednesday. But I'll be in the bloom room with you next Wednesday morning. You'll get all the details in your email, and that's where we're going to have the Q&A.
Sorry, just before you go on there, Janette, Ailish says she loves this tutorial. She has a 60-foot eucalyptus in her garden. Where do you live, Ailish? All I need to do now is get somebody to cut it down.
Big
Thanks for the inspiration.
Yeah. So there you go. That is costing you, you know what I mean, very little to make. It could be foliage out of your own garden. Do you know that way? Again, if you had a third variety of foliage, you could add it in through there. And doesn't that look nice? You know that way? And again, if it was a business, a hotel, you know that way, a hairdressers, and they're just looking for something for a reception desk, this would be absolutely fine. And if you had some nice artificial flowers, yesterday I showed you a huge range of silk flowers available from evergreen silk plants. Imagine hydrangeas, silk hydrangeas.
Oh yeah,
and you
be
could
fab.
add some silk hydrangeas going in and out through that. But the thing is, before we move on to the flowers, I need you to practice that technique, okay? Now we're not finished. I'm going to get Deirdre just to move that one off. And now I want to do another. Well, are they shared them before?
Oh, there is actually. Yes, sorry, I should have said the numbers are gone way up on
Brilliant.
Facebook now.
Okay.
Thanks a million.
Keep clicking the share. So as I said, that container I bought in IKEA, and this is another one that they have in IKEA, right? So you can purchase them, they're very reasonable, and also you'll buy it in your local flower shop. And if Flowers Made Easy is still watching, did they put up their link?
They're on Instagram, so they can't really do it, but they...
When you get a chance, pop over to the Facebook page for me, okay? Put up the link for hobbyflowers.ie, I think is the name of it. And again, that company also has these for sale. I'm not sure if Evergreen Silk Plants has them for sale, or again, if there's any garden centres there watching and you have them for sale, absolutely feel free to advertise yourself. That's what it's all about. Now, this is a little sachet of material that you can buy. Now, we have them for sale. I might as well sell something myself, so I'm selling for everybody else. We have these for sale on our website. So our website is www.flowerschoolireland.com. Click on it and go to the floral sundry section, okay? Scroll down, and I think they're called Swell Gel or Crystal Earth. It does say crystal accents on this, okay? But you know me with my bad habits, I always call it Swell Gel or Crystal Earth because that was what it was called years and years ago. So what you do is you mix it with water. The directions is on the back of it, okay? I just have it mixed in this container here. And it ends up coming out like kind of crushed ice. Can you see it there? It's like kind of jelly. I've absolutely oodles of it here. Like there's loads of it, okay? So that's it there. Hopefully you can see that. And you can get it in different colours, or when you're mixing the water into it, you could put food colouring or food dye into it. So all I'm going to do is into the end of the fishbowl is I'm going to add this. And if I just go down to the end of my container here, there's a bit of water in there as well. So there we just get some of that in. And you can add in as much or as little of this as you want. Doesn't it look gorgeous? Now imagine this for a wedding, as in a wedding table centre. But you listen, if you're just having a fish and chip tonight from the chipper, wouldn't this be gorgeous on the table? Or if you're just doing beans on toast, you know what I mean? Absolutely anything at all can be used.
Or now, in my house, ice on a plate.
Ice on a plate. We're on the seafood diets here at Kay's Flower School, and as you can see, we're thriving on it. We are thriving on it. It's getting bigger by the second. Anyway, what you can do then, hopefully I have these handy, is a little bit of grass. Okay, so this is a bit of pampas grass, and actually I just see you a bit of cordyline leaves here as well, Deirdre, have you? So a bit of pampas grass out of Deirdre's garden, and I'm just going to place it into the fishbowl. I kind of secured it down into the centre of the crystal earth, just to kind of hold it in place. These are Medellino sticks. You've often seen me use them on the flower arranging class. And again, to see the way you can just add them around the inside of your vase. These come in different colours, by the way. These are the cordyline leaves. Okay, so again, you could use some of them. So again, I'm just going to add it in, push the bottom of the leaf down into the crystal earth kind of to secure. You can move them around. Once you have them in, you're able to move them around.
Janette Smart, she says it's sunny but cold here in Hamble, and she's cooking pork chops in ginger beer for lunch.
Lovely.
Where's Hamble, I wonder? How far is that away?
I'd say it's Germany, I'd say, because they do a lot of pork chops in Germany, don't they? I haven't had a pork chop in years.
Deirdre Lynch, and you probably will say it anyway, says make sure to issue a warning about not putting the swell gel down the sink.
Yeah, absolutely. The swell gel, like, get rid of it by wrapping it up in newspaper and then putting it into your bin. Don't put it down your sink. What will happen is it's obviously hydrated at the moment and it's full of water, but then obviously with the heat of your house over a couple of weeks, it starts to shrink and it's, starts to vanish basically. And you might look in the end of the fishbowl and you'll say, God, there's nothing in the end of the fishbowl, but there's all them little sugar crystals, that way, just kind of like tiny little grains. And what happens is if you just rinse it in the sink, when all them little grains go down your pipes, they'll block your pipes, they will.
Okay,
and,
we won't be getting pork chops for dinner. It's in Southampton.
Southampton. It's not Germany.
Are these real or artificial? What you're doing now? They're real grasses.
Well, the grasses are real. The Medellino stick is like a dried twig, kind of dried stick. You buy them in the wholesalers, and again, your local flower shop will have them for sale. And you don't have to use the mixture. That way you can just keep to only Medellino sticks, or you could keep to just the pampas grass or the cordyline leaves that Deirdre kind of brought us in.
Somebody said they look like Pam. They are actually cordyline. They're from the shoots, the new shoots that's coming on. I was taking the new shoots off the cordyline. So that's how they're very immature, thin little cordyline leaves.
There we go, little baby ones.
Little baby ones.
There's nearly enough in that, isn't there?
I think there's loads of that, yeah. That's
so see the way you
gorgeous,
kind of move them around a little bit. But as I said, you don't have to use the mixture like what I did. You can keep to all the one sort. And then all you're looking for is a flower head. Now, the way you go out to the garden and you see a fabulous, you wouldn't have the hydrangeas in flower at the moment, and roses kind of just about, but you might see just one nice flower head. So this is where you can get your flower head, okay? You can cut it short, or again, anybody in a flower shop, you probably have a broken head, and all you have to do then is submerge it down into your crystals. It'll absorb the water. You can add a little bit more water into the end of it, and does that make a fabulous little gift, that way to give to somebody. You can just place it in a little box or a little bag, a little cardboard box wrapped in a little bit of paper, and it's a great way in a flower shop of using up any broken heads. And like any flower could be added in there. I obviously used the red rose because I had the red Medellino, but again, like if it was a lily head, if it was an orchid head, a Germany head, a peony would be amazing, a hydrangea head, it would fill it up even more. And these are so simple to make. And as I said, it's a great way of using up offcuts, broken heads, or single flowers that's left in a flower shop. Or again, for anybody there that's working at home or doing something from home yourself, just to make a nice table centre, even if it's to sit on top of the cistern in the toilet, that way, is go out to your garden and see what heads, even your neighbour's garden, and see what heads that you can get. So hopefully you enjoyed them 2 tutorials this morning.
Pull it in a little
As
bit.
I said, I need you to practice this one. No practicing on that one. Any gobshite can make that one, okay? A little bit of practicing on this one so that I can then bring it to the next stage, okay? We've lots of people asking us about this spring workshop. Remember, this year the spring workshop is going to be free, okay? But what I'll do beforehand is I will show you all the items that you will need, so then if anybody wants to work with me. But we're not going to do that until about a month's time. Do you know that way? So
yeah, it'll definitely be after Valentine's.
Yeah, because we have a lot kind of going on. Like from next week onwards, we've all our Module 1 students and all our Module 3 students. They're all going to be working really hard. I'll be out with the whip, kind of keeping them all going. And obviously I'll post all the photographs of the items that they're making on our social media pages, just for anybody that's interested. So I hope you enjoyed that class. As I said, next week we have loads more videos. As I said, this week we've been working on doing lots of pre-records so that we have content to kind of post, that way, for days maybe that we're not in. But I will be coming on live like a couple of days next week as well, just to keep you posted. Any questions that you have, post them in the comments below. Really appreciate you joining us in. Hope you picked up a couple of tips and a couple of hints. And remember, we want you to share the video, okay? Thanks a million, everybody. Have a fabulous day and talk to you all very soon. And have a great weekend as well. Bye-bye. See you then.